Okay, good morning, folks. Today is the 24th of October, 2025. Hope you all doing well today. It's nearly 5 a.m. here on the East Coast. I'm getting up late this morning. I didn't sleep good at all. Um, and I hurt my back working out yesterday, so getting started here, trying to keep moving. But that's not your problem. I know that, but anyway, um I appreciate y'all tuning in today, and we're going to talk a lot about Melissa, of course. And since I have some more time, I should be able to spend some time on the continental U.S. and the forecast for the coming days. So, this is Melissa. Generally, well, the low center is somewhere in this general area. Okay. Don't hold me to that. I mean, I've been looking at where the National Hurricane Center puts it, but they also say that it's kind of elongated right now. And you see the colder cloud tops firing over it. And I think the wind shear has lessened some. You can see a little bit of expansion and not as much of a demarcation here on the western side here. Although right up in here, there might be some shear impacting it. Either way, the shear is forecast to relax some. Um, and that particular concern is the possibility there might be a further southward shift um, in the track, at least in the short term. And as of right now, it's not moving at all, it's nearly stationary. So, not going to spend much more on the satellite pictures, see what's going on. Still quite disorganized, but forecast to organize more in the next 24 hours. So, this is the latest from National Hurricane Center. You can see this is the key messages, right? Rainfall is going to be one of the biggest problems for the next several days. And depending on the eventual track, is going to really, have an impact on um, the rainfall. Okay, so there's still quite a bit of uncertainty. All right, where it's going to go. So I know that's terrible, but when the National Hurricane Center and the experts say that, then I'm not going to pretend to know where it's going to go either. You know what I mean? So this is the rainfall outlook zoomed in here. All right, with a lower confidence to the north here, 20-30 inches possible over the open ocean, but um, the mountainous terrain really enhances rainfall here. So if we do get a closer track to Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, um, it could be devastating. In addition to if it intensifies like it's forecast to, the winds that could be involved will only add insult to injury here. Let's go back and look at the track a little bit closer up. Um, the warning cone here is a little bit closer. It's inched further south. You see the initial position of Melissa here. Tropical storm, 5 a.m. You can see this cone here. See that modeled area? That's a huge amount of uncertainty for even for a week out. I don't think I remember ever seeing a cone that large. So the cone is depiction of the possible center of a storm where it could track, although I think this scenario is not that likely. Um, Neither is this one. Somewhere in the middle is where this goes, right? But so the large cone doesn't is an impact area. It is where the estimated center would be. Okay. So this is quite a long distance here, and where it tracks ultimately has a big impact on a lot of things, including intensity, rainfall amounts. I mean, it's just this is one of the most uncertain forecasts that I've seen this year and in recent years. So let's be mindful of that, of course, and be kind to your meteorologist because the steering currents being weak like this, um, notoriously very hard to forecast, and even minor changes in the track and just subtle changes in the wind flow can make a huge difference here. So um, we're all doing the best we can to get the information out there, and all you can do is be prepared at this point. So luckily, I don't think it's going to impact the U.S. directly, other than rip currents or high seas, things like that. So unless something changes, of course, which it could, but you never know. Um, so let me go over the ensemble guidance here. This is a GFS ensemble from Tropical Tidbits. Its depiction of the centers is relatively good here, but for some reason, even now, and I'll show the operational run, it still has a rightward bias here with most of the members. You see over here. So you take it this way. Um, so that's a GFS ensemble. On the other side of the ensembles is the EPS, which is the European ensembles, which is a quite reliable model. Okay. So the general center, this is initialized at 00Z. Let's just say we initialize at 06Z. It has the center, the low center is depicted pretty well right here for the most part. 1516 north, okay? You see what's going on here with the European compared to the GFS. I would argue that this has something to do with maybe center reformation or um, the high pressure that's forecast to build in to the north might be a little bit stronger in the latest run. You see the wide range of possibilities here, which this is quite concerning if the center does in fact get out here uh, in the Central Caribbean, because, well, from an intensity standpoint, this is probably the worst case scenario for intensity as far as how high of a ceiling it has. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that. There's still quite a spread here with these, right, between here and here, and we have one up here which I'm not going to even talk about. So still got a lot of thinking to do about this, and this is through Tuesday, right? And we go forward in time with this. Whoops, sorry guys. See the wide range of possibilities here. This is Thursday, right? So we're going to be dealing with this for at least a week, if not longer still. All right. So that's a more of a westward model, right? And the let's go to the Canadian ensembles. 6Z visualization. It wants to take it further north, which is kind of in between the GFS and European. If you remember, the Canadian was one of the further west ones a while back. So the Canadian doesn't have as many members as the European or the GFS, I don't think. I have to check on that, but um, you see what it does. Quite a large spread, but not. There's a few members back here, but not not too far spread out, but still quite a bit, right? So, what's a Google DeepMind say? This is what's interesting to me is that there's been a pretty large southward shift, and of the Google DeepMind ensembles, right? Let me run this through here. We got the WeatherNext Graph Gen experimental model ensemble. There's the observed locations. So the initialization of the observed location is a little bit to the south, but I don't know if that really matters that much at this point. Um, Maybe it does, but the European is in here as well and initializes it right in that same area. So we'll just have to see what happens here. They all kind of group to the north here, and you see what happens. They almost go south of west a little bit, but they all end up recurving over Jamaica and going over Cuba. So and this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday right here. So we go back um, 23rd to 1800. Let's see what it shows here. See, they're further north initially, right? And it pretty much roughly takes the same track, although it goes further south to start with. So, but if it, like I said, if it gets over the open waters a little bit longer, it could intensify a lot more. So, um, what does the wind shear look like over top of this system? Initialize this at let's say 9G today. Not as much wind shear, although there is some to the north still. Wind shear seems to relax some as it moves through the flow here. And then see it gets in the central Caribbean here, where the wind shear isn't as strong. Okay. High pressure aloft over top of it. Evacuation of mass. See if it's expanding outward here. Likely due in part to this trough inducing some divergence aloft here. We have some divergence here, and also equatorward. This is very impressive right here. Shear is quite light. Um, so if that occurs, we could say period of rapid intensification. You see what happens here. um, a lot of outflow aloft, and becomes a 930 millibar, arguably Cat 4, Cat 5 hurricane south of Jamaica. So that's also the operational run of the Euro. Okay, latest run. Okay. A little more analysis on this. I know I'm getting kind of in the weeds here, but you have your 500 millibar um, heights here, which is you see a high here, and there's a high out here, weak high pressure, and you have the cyclonic vorticity, which it shows pretty accurately here, um, right, initializing it. All right, it moves it. There's a weak high pressure right here. You see it, the mid levels. That's what's going to end up steering. You see the flow right here out of the north a little bit, the mid levels. um, that steering flow probably won't last very long, but trough building over the east coast. This side tries to hold on, right? And this looks like it's wind, yeah. So when you start picking it up, I think I was wrong here. This is not. This is the wind barbs. I have to check on that, but either way, it feels a trough here, and let's look at the upper levels. Let's see. See the winds aloft here, streamlines moving generally this way. Steering flow ends up picking this thing up, right? Um, so yeah. Anyway, it moves up to the north here. You can see what happens with the flow. All right. It feels this weakness that develops with the 500, with the mid-level high pressure moving out of the way, and the trough digging into the east coast. All right. So one of the things we're really concerned about is rainfall. Right. I'm gonna run this through. This is total accumulated precip. See the darker yellows and oranges there? Possibly 10, 20 inches of rainfall. Jamaica, parts of um, Cuba. Uh, so don't let your guard down with this. What are the hurricane models saying? Let's see if I can pull up the latest HMON hurricane model. Brings it right to the south of Jamaica as a powerful Cat 3 or 4 hurricane. Makes landfall in Jamaica. Moves between Cuba and Jamaica. Moves over eastern Cuba. Not a forecast, guys. This is what it is. Half say is still these hurricane models have been very aggressive for the past several days here. Want to make it a strong Cat 4, maybe Cat 5 hurricane just south of Jamaica. This could be devastating if it does this. SB, very similar track, but a little bit different intensity here. Most likely due to terrain-induced weakening. becomes large storm as it moves over Cuba. What's your AI think here? All right, so we're moving through time. It takes the more southern route now too, obviously because it's part of the European suite. Is it just to the western tip of Jamaica over east central Cuba over the Bahamas? Nightmare scenario here, guys. And here's another look at the European model. All right, what it's doing. See it that it wants to, like, the low is there. It looks like it reforms it further south. You see that? And kind of reforms it again. Finally gets its act together. Moves almost west southwest here. Then moves up. There's a powerful hurricane over Jamaica, Cuba, parts of the Bahamas here. So, yikes. Let's look at the good old GFS. Why don't we? GFS has been very bad performing for this event, and it continues to develop this vorticity to the north here and want to pull the low level circulation to the north. And it has a position of, excuse me, the low level center pretty far, a lot further west than in the other models. So it's still out to lunch here. Still sticking to its guns though. When if it does happen, then I guess we're all gonna have to eat crow. But that's that. Canadian. Canadian is taking a somewhat more southern route, like the Euro now. I'm gonna see if I can have a more decent run. Okay. Um, it wants to bring it right over actually Jamaica now, then goes out into the Central Caribbean, over Cuba and Bahamas. It goes further north here, and I'm gonna look at the North Atlantic, see what this thing does. Once it wants to bring it into Atlantic Canada and almost phase with this other low off of here. Um, and it's been hinting at that for quite some time, so we'll just have to see if that plays out or not. I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. And this is the icon model. Looks a little bit too far to the west initializing it, but anyway, this is what it does. Takes it to the north, further than a lot of the models, and then hangs out there and dissipates it, which is, I think, an outlier at this point. Okay. Um, this is the latest Grand Ensemble guidance. You can see where the center is. You see where the darker reds are here and yellows, and moving to the north here. So, this is all the different models combined. Uh, Deep reds indicate high confidence. You get lower confidence, you move further out. You can see, I don't think Cuba's going to miss this at all. Somewhere in Cuba is going to get hit, as well as Jamaica, I think. Whether you get direct impacts or not is uncertain, especially in Jamaica. But so the CMC has 21 members, so we know that. The GFS actually has 31. ICON has 40. EPS, which is European, has 51. and the AI ensembles, except for the Eagle, which is a national a NOAA model, all had 50. So um, let's see if I have any more intensity guidance. You see the intensity guidance here. Cat 4, 3. GFS is on the low side because of the different track it takes, which I don't think is realistic. And smooth track. This just shows the different initialization times where the projected track was. And this is 1023, which is yesterday, 1800. You see where it initialized at. And it's a little bit further north here. That's the official track. Um, okay, as of 00Z. Recency of model run. So this will be the latest model run here. All right. And official, okay, it's official forecast track. It's updated a little bit. Become a powerful 145-mile-an-hour hurricane by um, 6 days from now. Here it is today. Oh, wait. Yeah. Yeah. So 1 day, 2 days. You see what's happening here, okay? So you're going to be thorn in our side for quite a while. Heavy rains, possibility of really extreme winds, and possibly devastating consequences for these areas, especially with the higher terrain, like I talked about. So um, that's all I got, guys, from Melissa. I know I talked about a lot, and I hope it was helpful. And I appreciate y'all tuning in, and have a great day.